Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of Injury Time, your one stop shop for everything on Indian football. Like we promised you, we are right here after the first match of the AFC Asian Cup qualifiers for the 2023 edition. We don't know where the 2023 edition will be held right as of now because China has pulled out from hosting the event. But that aside, the qualification got underway today with India playing Cambodia in the second match of their group. In the first match, Hong Kong took on Afghanistan, where Hong Kong went out to win that match 2-1. That is something that we'll be also talking about. But main focus will be on that India match where the Indian men's team took on Cambodia, a team that is coached by Japanese legend Kiyosaki Honda. Unfortunately, can't be named the head coach because of some licensing issues. We try to throw some light on that as well. But to do all of this, today I'm joined by two guys. One of your familiar face, another one who's making his debut on the show. So let me waste no time of yours anymore and let me get the two guys on board. First up, joining me from Delhi is Abresh Meena. Hey Abresh Meena, welcome to Injury Time.
Hello.
How's it been, man? How's Delhi? It's heat wave around, I hear.
Coaching.
Are you desperately waiting for monsoon?
Yeah, I'm waiting for winter actually.
Oh, you're waiting for it. Oh, Delhi ki sardi. Oh my God. Really, that's what you're waiting for. I get it. But the other person who can resonate with me about monsoon is someone who's joining me from Mumbai, Coach Floyd Pinto. Coach Floyd, welcome to the
Hey,
show, making your debut on Injury Time. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How's it been?
it's been good. It's been good. Glad to get out of the bio bubble. Two
Oh
seasons in a row.
yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I've spent 1 year, 4 months in Western Hotel in Kolkata out of 2 years. So it's good to be back home and fresh air and able to move around and and watch some football as well. That's nice
Well, did
and
you
good to
miss?
be on the show. Yeah.
Did you miss it today watching India play at the Salt Lake?
No, actually, once I finished off with the league, I watched uh, the Gokulam and
The AFC
uh,
Cup matches.
AFC Cup match. So I had that feel of Salt Lake in my mind, and
Uh-huh.
also watched and having watched India play against Bangladesh last time.
Right.
I think that feeling was still resonating in my mind. So when all these things about ticketing and all that stuff was going on, I was like, I mean, just show them that video, and there's going to be that many amount of people wanting to watch the game.
Absolutely.
So it's an
Calcutta and
experience in itself. Yeah.
absolutely, Calcutta and football, I think they just go hand in hand. This is something that I've been at least hearing from the time I was born, from my childhood. I don't know how the authorities thought COVID would turn out only because India was playing Cambodia. Like we were deprived of national team action for 3 years, and now the team gets to play at home. That's a great thing. Beginning with India's match, Coach Flood, I'll start with you. A 2-0 win, scores coming from no surprises there. Sunil Chhetri scoring both the goals. What did you make of this match?
Again, it was important for us to get the 3 points, and like we've been saying throughout this regime, we've been getting across that line. Uh, as far as the performance is concerned, I think there's a lot that needs to be worked upon, uh, especially with when it comes to teams that are, shutting shop in front of the goal and trying to break them down. But we tried a lot today with respect to crossing the ball and trying to get the ball in the back of the net, but that didn't work. But you need to win games, so be it through set pieces. So one a penalty and a corner kick well executed got us through the line. So now it's on to the next game. Yeah.
All right. Abrishmina, what about you? Like throughout this time when Igor Simach has been the head coach of the team, there's always been talk of a certain style of football that you want to see the national team play. But right now we are at a juncture where substance matters over style. You need those 3 points. You want India to win these two matches and qualify for the Asian Cup. How did you look at this match in that respect?
See, he did set up the team in a way that would play in that would enhance what the players actually can do, right? He did not go for quintessential trying to do too much. It was to how the players can play and understand. It's just easy, simple tactics. So that that worked to an extent, I would say. They did struggle in terms of creating chances a lot. Um, but that was also because Cambodia was sitting very deep. So in that case, if your passing is not like super intricate and you're just trying to cross the ball into the box and hope for somebody to make a run there to slot it in, it is always difficult to break down the opponents in that case. So yeah, I mean they did struggle with that initially, but like Floyd said, I mean in the end they did get the 3 points. So yeah, I mean that counts big time. So
Well, some relief, right, Floyd? 3 points coming in after a very lean patch where India struggled to get wins under their belt. Be it home, be it away, doesn't matter. It's the points that matter at the end of the day at this stage. And there's
Yeah.
been a lot of pressure on the Indian team to perform, to get wins against teams, especially teams ranked below you, and put up a solid performance against teams ranked above you. Like I said, at this stage, all that matters is those wins. There are just 3 matches, unlike in the previous cycle where you had 6 matches in this round where you could play home and away. This time around, that's not the case. Just 3 matches straight up. So a good way. In a sense, it's a good thing that we start with a winner. Unlike, say, Afghanistan, for that matter, uh, have endured a loss in the first match, and they will have to play out of the skin to ensure they at least have a fighting chance of making the Asian Cup.
Yeah, I think the Hong Kong game was a good example of how these guys have evolved in the way they wanted to play. I don't think they must have expected they're going to beat Afghanistan, but the way they played, it made for such an open game. It wasn't a game which was stuck in one half, one team trying to break down the other. Both teams had a go at each other, and when we discussed on Twitter as well, Hong Kong just took their chances. The quality was there. So it was an open game for Afghanistan as well, but they weren't at that level yet. Maybe they may be a lot very rusty coming to the first game. But if Hong Kong play the same way against us, it's going to be a damn good open game. And I think it will suit us as well because judging from today's game, it's very clear to say that we are not there yet when it comes to, like Breshmina said, intricate play and breaking teams down. We break teams down through width, through crosses, and through runners and individual play. So even the goal that the Liston won out of the penalty that he won came after a counter attack. Basically, Cambodia were attacking and we got the ball. He had some space to dribble through and got the chance. So, we are going to create those kind of chances. So when Hong Kong comes at us or when Hong Kong comes, at least halfway ahead, it's going to open up that space for us, for our runners, the Listons, the Manveers, Sunil himself, and the runners from midfield like Thapa, to exploit that. So it's shaping up to be a good group, especially with Hong Kong, the way they are playing right now.
Absolutely, guys. We are hearing you. There's a lot of noise. I think that's coming from Floyd, your end. If you can
Okay.
if you can sort it out. There's some disturbance, or else while you're not talking, you just mute yourself. So that could also be really
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah,
So,
I'll do that.
continuing with the conversation, Abresh Meena, talking about the Indian team per se, right? Steamage named a pretty interesting 11. Like this probably is the best 11 that you can go ahead with, not just for this 3 matches, but even going ahead. What did it make of the choice of the players, and then the kind of changes that he brought in the likes of Glenn, then Udanta came in for a bit. Sahal played the second half, so you got to see everyone probably in the squad, players that you expect to play in the national side.
yeah, I mean, I don't think the starting lineup was a surprise or something. I think it was kind of like on the expected lines. I mean, you did expect Roshan also to start. So yeah, I mean, I wasn't very surprised with the starting lineup. Um, Changes also were good, like especially Udanta coming on. I think he what he essentially wanted to do was use his speed on the wings and try and get those crosses in, and something that Udanta did do well. With Cambodia also, the players also tiring a little bit. I mean, Udanta obviously had those half spaces and he used them well. So yeah, he did his job. The only change that I didn't really understand was Glenn coming in place of Brandon. I thought Brandon was actually growing into the game. Uh, he was okay in the first half also, but I think the second half he started, and he started playing according to the people around him a lot better, and he was making those passes and crosses that were actually very good. So I didn't understand that change, because that also seems a little defense on the defensive side. I mean, playing against Cambodia when you're completely dominating with possession and everything, I didn't really understand Glenn coming in place of Brandon. If you wanted to sit out Brandon because he had done his job and everything, then I think Yasser could have got a chance in that place. Essentially, Yasser plays that position exactly. So I think Yasser could have got a chance. So, I mean, that was the only change that I didn't really understand. Other than that, I felt Sahal was okay. I would still say, I mean, he was holding his position well and he was, winning those balls. But in terms of, contributing in terms of the attack, I think he did lack a bit. I mean, I don't think he was, he had that camaraderie, or he had that setup along with the other players around him. I think that was the difference. I think that will get in his system. I think he's had a good season for Kerala Blasters, and he got very used to the players that were around him. So I think that will take a little bit of time, and I think he'll adjust. But today, I mean, he was just okay.
Well, Floyd, what about you? In your opening comment, you just said that this team is probably not there where we would expect them to be, given the quality that we see in the players that we have. Could you elaborate a bit on that? What could be the ceiling for these players and this team in particular?
Oh no, see, at this point of time, I hope you can hear me now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a matter of working with these players over time. But I hope that from this game onwards we see a little bit of consistency with the selection, which will eventually help these guys gel together, because the team that he has, the squad that he has selected here looks to be kind of the group that he should be taking forward.
Right.
Working with. We're obviously missing maybe Apuya through injury. That's one. Maybe Sana through injury. So
Probably
the more these
Abra
guys,
as well.
yeah, the more these guys play together, I think that would be ideally help them. When it comes to even the substitutions, Abreshma mentioned about So I think Brandon's knowing his injury past. He's an injury-prone player, and I think it's just a matter of protecting him so that he can play these 3 matches to the level that he needs. And he's been a little bit busy off season as well now.
Right.
So I think it's just a matter of protecting him and protecting that 2-goal lead as well. And Sahal as well, I think that's where I think what Liston's doing right now, we expect Sahal to do that as well. And I think that's where he's lagging behind a little bit, where Liston is producing now for club and country. So it's a matter of time where these guys start to gel and play with each other. But I still feel we are far away from like cutting teams open through the center, kind of combination plays and all that stuff. But I still feel crossing is our strength. We are doing that to a certain extent and extensively in a lot of games, and individual creativity is there. So I think these 2 factors, I think, will carry us through these couple of matches. And then when it comes to playing the bigger teams, obviously with us playing the style that we will play against them, these are the factors that are going to come into play: the runners and the crossing and penetration behind. So that's about it. Yeah.
All right. Like next bit of our chat, let me stick with you, Floyd. This is more about Hong Kong and Afghanistan, the first match of this group. We had a small conversation of a sort on Twitter about how the team was like, because of all the press that I was reading and what I heard was Hong Kong as a team has been in disarray because of very many reasons. But for them to come out and get a 2-0 lead against a team like Afghanistan, and I say this because we have always been talking about how Afghanistan has improved, but because of the current geopolitical situation with players playing outside, difficult to get together, time to get together, play as a unit, train as a unit, let alone play as a unit. It's been a difficult phase for them as well. But despite that, Afghanistan could be India's party poopers in this group if that's the case. But right now, Afghanistan has lost their opening game. It's a 2-1 loss. They have their backs against the wall. First up, how did you look at the first game, and how does that win for Hong Kong set up this entire group, the remainder of the matches?
I think that has opened up the group, and I think that has opened up the group in our favor. if I'm to put it right, because that now will force Afghanistan to come against us. They will want the win, and that will suit the way we play and our setup and our style. So then if we manage to get past Afghanistan, it will come to a stage where maybe Hong Kong is at their best, at their at the most positive moment ever in their footballing history, versus us, and hopefully we'll be in a better moment than we were today, which will make for an open game. So and then you would say maybe the best team goes through. So, and who knows, even both the teams may go through have been the
Right.
second best place second team. So it's the win has certainly opened up the group, and I think it's going to make for the next two match days going to be very interesting.
Well, Abreshmina, what about you? You have the likes of Harun Amiri, you have Sharif Mohammed, who played in the I League, played in that AFC Cup, has been in India for a very long time. So much so that Kerala may just give him a citizenship. This guy with the Afghan squad now, walls against their back against their walls. They need to play out of the skin.
They definitely do, and I think what works kind of for Afghanistan is they know how India plays. They know the Indian players, right? So it kind of also works for them as well because they also have an idea, and also in terms of the environment and everything, they are well versed with it. They are well used to the humidity and everything. So yeah, I mean, first game, I think for them, it was difficult, and like you've been talking about, obviously it's difficult for them to get together and play every now and then. So I think that does play a part, especially in the first game of of a set of games. So for the second one, I think from the second game onwards, they would be more raring to go, I think. And having lost the first game, I mean, definitely they'll come hard at us. Um, and yeah, I mean, it is going to be very interesting how India can play against them, because obviously the last time we met, it was quite a thing. So yeah, it'd be very interesting to see if we can do something different this time. And like we've been talking about, we do struggle to break opponents. So if you make blocks in front of your goal, India does struggle to break through, and that also frustrates the players.
Right.
So it's kind of you can get under their skins also like that. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting battle.
Well, Sandeep just wants to know if I gave credit to Stibach. Sandeep, I am giving credit to Stibach because India won a match. I'm happy about the fact. Okay, Igor Stibach, thanks a lot for doing that. And I hope you help this team win the coming two matches and make them qualify for the Asian Cup. That's all that matters to me right now. As simple as that. Style doesn't matter to me. All that matters is substance as of now. I need those 3 points in the coming two matches.
I think you will give credit only once we qualify for the Asian Cup.
Yeah. And then I wanted to see take the team into the Asian Cup and not just like, okay, qualified and his tenure is just cut short there. Like if he takes the team if he helps the team qualify for the Asian Cup, he should be in a position to take the team to the Asian Cup as well, right, guys?
Yeah.
Well, looking forward, next match is against Afghanistan. Everything that Abreshmina just spoke about, Floyd, how do you see that match pan out? Like, Afghanistan has to go for it, right?
Yeah, I do see Igor bringing in some experience, guys. I think Pritham Subhashi should make a comeback in the team for the next game because I think he'll go a little bit with more experience. What surprised me today was there were quite a few moments where Cambodia just walked past us, and straight into our attacking third, because we kept a shape and we tried to press, but there was no actual pressure. There was kind of a passive shape being kept, and it was really surprising. And they had two good free kicks in good positions, which I think if you do the same thing against Afghanistan with the pace and the quality that they have, that's going to be the way they're going to hurt us, and obviously set pieces as well. So I think that there'll be some experienced heads that will come back. I don't know whether he might go change the shape again, maybe to have a little three at the back kind of a shape to give us a little bit extra solidarity at the back. But definitely, I think I see the game going in such a way where Afghanistan's trying to break us down, and us trying to counter, and us getting the goal or getting the win on the counter. That kind of a situation happening, because I think the motivation is with them to come at us, and I think that's the first few minutes will dictate the pace of the game. So I think they're going to come at us. They're going to force us to defend a little bit deeper. and that's how the game's going to move forward. That's my perspective.
And I think our defenders actually in that game will have to be a lot more careful. I mean, honestly, Jingan getting a yellow card in so early in the game was like could have been really dangerous if
Well, that's
Cambodia
typical Jinwin.
would have pressed more. If Cambodia would have actually come back at us like more hard and in a more synchronized manner up front, I think it could have been, brought a lot of trouble for Jingan because he did have a couple of close shaves even after that. And I think if something like that happens against Afghanistan, we're going to be in deep water. So yeah, we'll have to be really careful on that.
Ideally, you'd require maybe, like, I think Afghanistan will play two up front. So, and that's what Cambodia did very evidently today. And ideally, you require three players. So that would be Sandesh, Anwar, and Suresh. To take care of these three guys. But towards the end and towards the second half, you've seen we required at least four for the two of them. When Pritham came on, he was also not bombing up forward, up and down. He was holding very steady, and it was almost a 4 versus 2. So that was a 4 versus 2 against two of Cambodia's players. So Afghanistan is going to be much more stronger, faster, technically much better, and definitely much more clinical. So it's going to be interesting to see the team that he picks and the shape that he picks. But definitely, I feel we'll be much more pragmatic in our approach against Afghanistan.
Well, guys, that's about the match. But one thing that was really heartening to see at the Salt Lake was the fans coming back. You had a number of people turn up after all the fiasco that and all the trouble that they had to go through to get those tickets. Floyd, 2 seasons you have been in a situation where you had a team playing in front of empty stands. How different was this, like, from what you have seen and what you have experienced over the past 2 years?
Oh, it was completely. I mean, at some point of time, you can kind of get used to it. As to that you can hear everybody, like the players' voices, you can hear the opposition voices. You can hear sometimes even the referees talking, right, which sometimes you never even hear in a normal game. And towards the end of the season, when fans were in, it was most of the Mohammedan fans, for the game against Mohammedan, and then, it created such a good atmosphere, and that pressure of not losing a game. Our goalkeeper Jasprit was in goal, bang in front of the stand where all Mohammedan supporters were, and he was like, "Sir, I've heard things I have never heard before in my life." And but fortunately we lose that game. So that's kind of an experience that you have. Players warming up on that side kind of
Right.
had to listen to a lot of things that they wouldn't have wanted to hear. So that brings a lot of kind of a cagey affair. It makes the game a really cagey affair. It plays with the players' mental aspect. And if I don't know if I'm right in saying this, but the last time when we played against Bangladesh, I think it affected us
Oh
more
yeah,
than the opposition.
Yeah.
it did.
So I was kind of a little apprehensive with
Well, you're
if we're going to have
absolutely
a full
right in
stadium.
saying that because Steamer himself came out and said, "Okay, too many people in the stands." I'm like,
Too
Yeah.
many
what?
people.
And I felt that because I was watching the game, and I kind of felt it because every pass was hesitant, every touch was kind of going away. So it wasn't the case today. We were on it, we were there, and but it was just a matter of the quality on the pitch was lacking a little bit when it came to the final third. But definitely a full stadium over an empty stadium any day, any given day.
Well, hopefully 2 more matches where we see the Indian men's team perform. But before we wrap up, there's one question coming in from Raj Kamble.
Yeah.
Brishmina, he wants to know, this is about a pre-match problem, like a situation that arose where there were also rumors of the Cambodian Football Association president coming out and saying, okay, if the AFC and the organizers here in India do not apologize, he will pull out the team. There was a rumor like that as well.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on this?
Yeah, honestly, it was embarrassing. I mean, having the announcement being made and having to wait like for so long. I mean, it was very embarrassing in terms of the organization. I think there are no excuses that you can kind of give, for moments like these. And in terms of obviously what came out, the rumors and everything about the hospitality not being good. I mean, if that is true, it's not a good look at all. Obviously, we want to get so many tournaments to host. We want to have,
Well, that's a feather on our cap that we're really good at organizing events, right?
yeah. So yeah, if you're really good at organizing everything, I mean, even these like 3 matches should not be a problem at all. So yeah, I mean, very embarrassing, to be very honest. I mean, I did think that there are no excuses for such organization. It has to be on point. I mean, there are no two ways about it. Yeah.
Well, 3-week competition is not a problem, but 3 matches could be a concern. But Floyd, just wanted to get your thoughts on this. When it comes to hospitality and hotel and things like that, doesn't it go down to the individual teams to arrange for that, or is it the organizers who help you do that, or who help you set up that? Like, how does it work in a team management?
No, it's completely down to the organizers because I remember when we had gone to Saudi Arabia for the AFC under-19s, uh, uh, we planned to go there in advance. So we wanted to have a camp out there and then move into the games. And to be honest, that was one of the worst possible decisions that we could make because when it came to pool timings, meal timings, ground allocations, when we wanted, was never done the way we wanted. So it kind of disrupted the entire preparation rather than bringing everything together. So it's all on the organizers with respect to the organization, and it happens everywhere. You know, the LOs that are working with you are the local LOs, so they kind of are always there. And somehow when we go for these AFC tournaments, we always have LOs who are ex coaches. You know, so they always are trying to kind of get information from your team to kind of pass it over. So all these kind of things are always happening. But with respect to what happened today was something of a different level. I think that shouldn't happen to any country with
Absolutely.
respect to the national anthem or the national flag as well. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Well,
Distasteful, actually. Made
it is
it
very.
made the whole, everyone was so excited for to be able to be in the stadium to watch the game and everything right from there, and it just made the entire thing a little distasteful for everybody, I guess.
Well, yes, distasteful is the word, right, guys? 2 more matches to come. We hope that things get in order before that match. First up on Saturday, where India play Afghanistan. Then on the following Tuesday, when the India play of Hong Kong in the final group stage game of the AFC Asian Cup 2023 qualifiers. Floyd, Abresh, Mina, thanks a lot for joining me on today's show. It was on a very short notice that you all agreed to come in. I'm really, really thankful for that.
Thank
it took
you.
two to make up for Sandeep, I think.
Oh yeah, it did. Sandeep, I'm pretty sure he's listening and he's like, okay, fine, I'm really good at my job. All right, and also, guys, listeners, viewers who tuned in, and send us your questions, and always been of great support for us over the years. Thanks a lot for that, and we'll be back after the next match also, and then after Hong Kong match, we'll be talking about this because conversations need to go on. That's how Indian football will go ahead, right? Because in the past, the question was the problem was no one ever spoke about Indian football. So right now, at least that's something that we can always do. We can talk about Indian football. We can talk about footballers. We can talk about everything that's happening. And there is something special in the lines, in the works. If you are on Twitter, if you are on Injury
You
Time
know.
handle, you know what we are talking about. So much more on that on our Twitter handle. So stay tuned and follow us. You can see our individual Twitter handles on the screen. And yes, on Injury Time IND. That's where you can get all the information, all the gossips that you want from the world of Indian football. Until we bring you the next episode of Injury Time, have a great time and enjoy the game.